Labour's Homelessness Minister Rushanara Ali, who publicly rails against exploitative landlords, has been caught evicting her own tenants from a London townhouse, only to relist the property for £700 more per month. That's right, the minister responsible for protecting renters is now accused of profiting from the very system she claims to fight. Ali owns a 4-bedroom townhouse in Bow, East London, just a mile from Olympic Park. She rented it out for £3,300 a month to 4 tenants, including Laura Jackson, a self-employed restaurant owner. In November 2024, tenants were told their lease would not be renewed. They were given 4 months' notice to vacate. The property was then relisted for £4,000 a month, a £700 increase. New tenants confirmed they moved in 4 or 5 months ago and are paying the higher rate. It gets worse. Upon ending the lease, Ali's letting agent tried to charge £2,000 for repainting and £395 for professional cleaning. Under the Tenants Fee Act 2019, these charges are illegal unless serious damage occurred. Minor wear and tear is not chargeable. It was really stressful, nearly £500 each. The property wasn't even clean when we moved in, said Jackson. Once the tenants mentioned Ali was Labour MP, the charges were mysteriously dropped.
The eye. Labour's homelessness minister has ejected 4 tenants from a flat they were renting.
This is the epitome of Labour hypocrisy, isn't it? It really, really, really is. Let me just quote this homelessness minister for a second for you. And this is coming directly from the eye here. The MP, her name is Rushanara Ali. She's previously stated that private renters are being exploited and so that her government would empower people to challenge unreasonable rent price increases on rent. So, get this, right? She's charging £3,300 roughly a month for rent. She evicts all of her tenants, gives them 4 months' notice, and then brings in a bunch of new tenants for over £4,000 a month. That's a £700 increase on rent. How can you be the homelessness minister? How can you criticise private landlords and say, oh, this is ridiculous and unreasonable rent increases, and then go and do exactly that?
Unless what we need to be careful of with this is what reasons she had for evicting the tenants.
Yeah, that's fair.
Maybe they weren't paying their rent, maybe they were trashing the house, we just don't know, do we?
I'm sure there's a reasonable thing. However, I will say, look, if it was about the rent and if it was about them not paying rent, that's different. But then to come back and put the prices up, well, 700 quid's a lot of money to put up after it. I don't know. Listen,
yeah, but it's different tenants, so it's you know.
Sure, I just think it stinks of hypocrisy.
The fact is, we've got the Renters' Rights Bill going through Parliament, which is basically going to prevent landlords from evicting tenants. And that's why a lot of landlords are evicting tenants, because they're terrified about the consequences down the line of this. And not paying your rent under that bill is not necessarily something that will allow you to circumvent that new rule. What this says to me, Alex, you hit the nail on the head. It's the epitome of Labour hypocrisy. This government is getting more like George Orwell's Animal Farm every day. One rule for those in charge, one rule for the Labour government and their MPs and ministers, and quite another rule for the rest of us.
The crazy thing about this, as you know, Suzanne, is that Labour is making it illegal for landlords to relist properties at higher rent increases. So under the new laws.
Are they?
So this is why it stinks so much of hypocrisy.
Totally
you know, it's almost like this minister looking, going, I better do that before this new law comes in that my party and I voted
Absolutely
for.
Right.
And I just think, for me, that just stinks.
Rushanara Ali has publicly condemned private renters being exploited, promoted Labour's Renters' Rights Bill, which prohibits landlords from raising rent within 6 months of ending a tenancy to sell a property. Yet, she evicted tenants, raised the rent by £700, attempted to sell the property and then relisted it for rent when no one was buying it. Conservative Shadow Housing Secretary James Cleverly called it an example of the most extreme hypocrisy. She should not have the job as Homelessness Minister. Ali's actions raise serious questions. Should MPs be allowed to act as private landlords in their own constituencies? Is this a conflict of interest, especially for a minister responsible for homelessness? Can voters trust politicians who preach protection but practice exploitation? Even Labour voters are outraged. I just think it's morally wrong that MPs can be landlords, especially in their own area, said Jackson. This isn't just about one townhouse, it's about a political class profiting from a broken housing system while telling the public they're fixing it. It's about asking, when the homelessness minister evicts tenants for profit, who's really fighting for the homeless? This is Shivangi and you've been watching Newsroom.